And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 7th. The only show in town today really is Tropical Storm Cristobal, which is moving on its way towards the Gulf Coast of the United States. Day 159 of the year 2020, and 28 storms have formed so far around the world. Day 7 of Atlantic hurricane season Cristobal, very large, 2 10% areas that were marking out, although both of them are near the end of the 5-day period. You can't see anything on satellite just yet, but 2 areas could be lurking for potential development. Day 24 in the Eastern Pacific, and no storms are active here. Very long range before we see the first ones pop up on the model runs. And in the Indian Ocean, believe it or not, the remnants of 92A are still traceable now over the northern part of Ethiopia. Didn't think I'd be saying that anytime today. No storms are active in the Southern Hemisphere. The 2019-20 Southern Hemisphere animations are on their way, expected in the next 2 weeks or so. So, the big story is Tropical Storm Cristobal, which has winds of 50 miles per hour and a pressure of 994 millibars, a CDPS Stage 3, large wind field, 222 miles south of Port Eads, Louisiana, the southernmost part of the Mississippi River Delta that's populated there, and we expect the storm will make landfall in around 24 hours or less, maybe, and could make landfall with winds of 50, maybe 60 miles per hour, and then really getting its move on towards the north and then northeast. It looks like it will weaken substantially after it makes landfall. There it is right now. You can see already Florida has had a very interesting day with all kinds of warnings, tornado warnings, severe thunderstorms, and that will continue over the course of this evening, tonight, into the early hours of June 7th in the United States. The Gulf Coast seeing more of this now as well as we go into Sunday. And there's a close-up of the storm, which is just about getting that convection back over its center. It was looking a little bit on the edge there not long ago. 1 or 2 suggestions that could have even been subtropical for a time, but it doesn't look like to me that has been the case. There it is from the East Pacific's perspective, and nothing else going on in the Eastern Pacific there. Rather quiet. In the Western Pacific, it's very much the same story. Not much going on here at all. Look at all of that cloudless skies over the open ocean there. You don't really get a perspective on just how large the West Pacific Ocean is. You see what's left of a tiny little disturbance there, but we're really getting desperate if that's what we're looking out for. And you can see that usual frontal system is moving through Japan. You get that kind of feature at this time of year. In the Southern Hemisphere, we've got a line of thunderstorms that are just edging south of Vanuatu, a bit of heavy weather there today, Fiji possibly as well, and the remnants of 92A on your left-hand side over Ethiopia, the northern part of the country, and will eventually move over into Sudan, but it will probably not last that long, we think. Sea surface temperatures very warm, 29 to 30 degrees Celsius off the coast of Mexico in the Pacific. In the Atlantic, cooler because of Cristobal, now down to about 27, I think that is there, dropping to 26 at landfall, so it will start to lose momentum. And there's the Indian Ocean, still very warm temperatures in the wake of Nisarga. You can see a tiny little sliver there off the western coast of India, a little bit cooler. And over in the Western Pacific, warm and getting warmer there. You can see more 30 degrees if you've been watching our videos recently over the Northern Mariana Islands in that latest map. You can see how above average it is over there as well. The subtropics in particular looking very interesting across the Pacific. The Atlantic, it's the tropical zones that are above average, and a La Nina in effect, most notably in the Eastern Pacific. Here's Cristobal over the course of today on the floater imagery now, and you can see how it's been looking. Ragged was the word I was looking for earlier, but it's starting to look better with more convection blowing up near the center. I don't think there's any question about it being tropical, although the National Hurricane Center are commenting on how it's not got a classic tropical cyclone appearance. Although what we could say is that it does look better than Barry, and I think we would say that it's probably quite comparable to Cindy at this point, if you remember that one from 2017. But at the moment, it's looking like it's moving due north, and you can see on the eastern side, that's obviously the area that's going to get the worst conditions. A massive band which is just sprawling out towards the eastern side of this storm, really battering Florida, and we'll start to move on to the other Gulf Coast states very soon. So models all in check really. We're looking at a maximum really of 60 miles per hour at this point, looking at that. Wind shear is at its best right now. We don't think it's going to get any more conducive than this, and it will probably maintain itself for the next 24 hours. So we'll see surface temperatures, and relative humidity is on the way down. So in general, conditions are getting slightly worse over the time between now and landfall. HWRF shows you there the green areas, that's tropical storm force winds, a large wind area. This is one of the occasions where you don't just look at the National Hurricane Center cone track. You want to look much further east. That's why we've got tropical storm warnings all the way into Florida. Looking back on June the 7th, 1973, one of my personal favourite storms, Hurricane Ava, a Category 5, peak early on this day and maintained it for quite a while, maybe even stronger than 160 miles per hour. That's what we keep it at right now in our analysis, but there it is, a beautiful storm and the earliest Category 5 on record in the National Hurricane Center's basins. The next name in the Atlantic back in 2020 is Dolly. In the Eastern Pacific, we're looking out for Boris. In the Central Pacific, the next name on list 1 is Hone. Over there in the Western Pacific, we had Fong Fong earlier. The next name on list 3 is Nuri. And in the North Indian Ocean, Gati is the second name on the brand new list 1. And there you can see the rest of those names that we'll be getting familiar with as time goes by. Looking to the southern hemisphere, Imogen is next in the Australian region. In the southwest Indian Ocean, Kundai, if it happens before June 30th, then the names roll over again. And in Fiji, the next name is Yolanda. Check out our new look cyclone tracker on the ForceThirteen website for the latest up-to-date information. You can also find us, of course, on our YouTube channel, search ForceThirteen, and also on Facebook and Twitter, ForceThirteen at ForceThirteen on Twitter for the latest updates. You can also help the project become even better by becoming an Ultimate Fan on YouTube. To see the full list of Ultimate Fan benefits and to join, visit youtube.com/ForceThirteen/join. With a special thanks to our top supporters this month. You can also check out our growing merch store so you can show ForceThirteen's colors wherever you go. You can also find a link to our Discord server underneath this video in the description.